All right. Mulligans and Hackers Golf podcast episode number 71. We are back. Chris and
Yeah,
Alvin with a season recap.
yeah, we're going to do a little recap of 2024 for us because as the season is winding down now, um,
Yeah, it was a little
it,
cold this morning.
it was chilly this morning. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It was.
Yesterday was a little rainy, doing a little scramble. It
Oh,
was
yeah, yeah.
that was
I wasn't at that scramble, and I was actually at work. And when I was looking out, I actually thought of you in the afternoon. I'm like, this guy's going to get wet. And you sent me a little video, and yeah, you were wet.
the Druids rain gear that I bought through them. It worked really well. I got to really test it out
You really
because
need
it
it.
was pouring all day. And I mean, we played all 18 holes, and we played at Desert Bloom, which is a tough course. I mean, it's a linksy style course, as we've talked about before, and it's open, and it's like, I mean, there was a couple hours out there where it was just pounding down. So I mean, we went -6. I mean, it was fun, but it was definitely cold. You can definitely tell that the weather is changing,
Oh,
which sucks.
100%. The mornings are colder. We're seeing a little more rain now,
Yeah,
like a little more dreary type conditions. I played Wednesday after work for 9, and it was wet, and my rain gear came in handy.
yeah. You
On
actually went out
Wednesday.
in the rain. Were you feeling
I
okay
I
that
did.
day?
I braved it. I had the tools and the gear to go do it, and I really wanted to go because I hadn't played. I think I only played one round in the previous week,
Oh wow.
and I was like, I was seriously going through some withdrawal. And I was like, I don't care, and it was only like misting when I got it when I kind of went to the course, and I played 9 and 8 and 9. It actually really started to rain, so that's when the gear came in handy. I had the umbrella. I had the umbrella on the cart the entire day, so it was all right.
Well, and I mean, we've started pushing our tea times back on the weekends where we can. I mean, this is a weekend where I'm off, so it was nice because we went out there today. Me, you, Clark, and Dave got out there at 9:40 this morning, right?
Yep.
But we would like to go at around 9, but we
Still,
pushed our tea times back a bit.
it was single digit when we got there. I think it was
Yes.
7 degrees.
Yeah.
Right, and that affects everything you're doing on the golf course,
Oh,
anyways, because everything's cold.
warm up on the driving range an hour before was like I felt like I was hitting rocks.
Yeah, it was.
It was a little cold.
It was cold, and the game is different when it's cold.
It's supposed to be a little warmer tomorrow, 22, I think.
Oh, I mean,
So-
but it won't be that warm in the morning when we get there.
No, but it'll be warmer than it was today, I think. So it won't be so bad.
So 2024, it was a different season for us, both of us, because we moved courses. We went
Yeah.
from Cottonwood, where we played the last 3 years, to Medicine Hat, which is par 72, longer course. I wouldn't say more challenging, but
Challenging in its own way.
challenging in its own way, lengthwise, accuracy wise. You're playing a par 72. I think from the whites, it's how long?
6,300.
Yeah. So
And then I think from the hybrids, which we've been playing a little bit more hybrids because as the season goes.
the yellow white combos.
And I think that's about 6,000
Yeah.
or
So
something like that. It's like a 300-yard difference, I
Yeah.
think.
So it gives you a couple different looks on some, definitely on two of the harder holes,
Yeah.
number eight, and number 15.
8, 15, and 13,
And
which is
so-
13 is also a harder hole. So
Yeah,
I mean, those 3 holes.
Yeah.
13 is not too terribly
13 is
hard,
not
but
too terribly hard. But the other two holes, I mean, 15 is for me playing from the whites. If I had a good drive, I'm hitting a 3-wood next, and then I'm pitching on, and it's par 4. I mean,
yeah,
I don't
you got a
have-
pure drive, pure 3-wood to have any chance of getting there
and,
too.
and I may have parred that hole maybe once or twice this year.
It's long for you.
But again, that hole's outside of my reach from the whites, really. So
Well, and I mean, today we were talking about it, and we're like, what do we want to play? Well, it was cold, so we played the hybrids, which was a good call
it was
because the
It
ball was not flying the way it normally does.
And again, we played. I mean, you started with a 9.
I took a 9 on the
On
par
the four.
5. I absolutely shit smashed
That's
a
number
beautiful.
1, right? You took a 9 on hole number 1.
Yep. I took a 9 on number 1. I absolutely shit smashed a beautiful drive. It was perfect into the fairway, and I'm like, well, I could go for this, but the ball's not flying. Well, whatever. It's cold, so I grab an
And
iron.
again, I was actually shocked you didn't go for it because you were actually in what were your
I was 220.
220 out.
I know, but it
220
was.
for you is like a 6-iron. But I know you would have probably had to hit a hybrid because the ball wasn't traveling today. But I was like,
I just didn't think I could get it over the
It's
trees.
one of the first times they've seen you on hole number 1 be in position to go for a par five in two, and you not take that route.
Well, and we were like
And again,
the guys in front of us were pretty friggin' slow too.
That's
I didn't really want to hold up the course. That was kind of part of my decision.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So I had a great drive. My second shot ended up through the trees, and I had a look at an approach. I had a really poor approach shot into the bunker, and low like I played in a scramble last Sunday. I played in a scramble yesterday, and I played a shit round last or 2 weeks prior on Saturday in Calgary. That's what I've played. So I get into the bunker. Holy fuck! I don't think I've hit a bunker shot that bad all year. And to say that I hit two of them today that were just absolutely terrible. So, anyways, I just beat it around like I was at the green at 3, and I beat it around, which is not normal for me.
You did. I mean, you took two chip shots from way behind it because you sculled it out of the bunker. You went way like over by number two's tee box, and you had to come back.
Yeah, well, and then I didn't have the right club,
Yeah.
so I was like, well, I'll try and get it there. Nope, didn't get it there. Ended up close under a tree, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to punch it this way. So yeah, long story short, I started with a fucking quad, but I did, and then I ended up taking a triple on 13. My driver was working real well today.
Actually, that is seriously. We'll talk about in a little bit here, the goals that we kind of set for ourselves this season and stuff. But like you played your driver today. Seriously, the best consistency I have ever seen you hit your driver.
Oh man, it felt
Ever.
amazing.
Like I've seen you hit some good shots with your driver, but your driver's hasn't been that consistent. So it goes in the bag, comes out every now and then, goes in the bag. Like you don't get to see you play. I don't get to see you, and I haven't seen you play driver on par fours and par fives a lot, like consistently this year. This today, you were pulling that driver out on every par four, every par five, and I'm going to tell you, I think you hit more fairways than I did today.
But yeah, I did. Well, especially on the front, I was 5. I think I hit 5 on the front, and there's 2 par threes. So I mean, I was 5 for 7,
Yeah,
which is pretty darn good. And then
and for you with the driver, yeah, and you could tell like your game was different today with the driver because you got some really great like yak yards because you didn't hit a high drive ball. Your ball was relatively, I guess, stinger type.
yeah,
But yeah, your shots into the greens were from a different place today because of that driver.
yeah. Well, and I played a different ball than I normally do, which is a little harder, which I found in the short game. This is the first time I ever played those Chrome Tour X balls, and I just I like how they fly. I like how the putt is. Just the short game's a little different than the feel I normally have, which is okay.
I
But
said to you on hole number
5,
five,
yeah,
I said to you, I said because you were hitting a wedge,
yeah.
and I'm like that ball sounds totally different off your wedges. Like that's just
There's a tink.
there. Yeah, it's different than your TP5s that you normally play,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I mean, I have some TP5s, but I was like, you know what? I bought these ones with my gift card down at Cottonwood. I paid they're like $75, and I paid like $20 for them. And I'm like, whatever. I just different ball to try and use and see. But they were good, and it was.
I played okay today. I took a snowman on 18
Quad, yeah.
a quad that I don't. So I hit my drive off that tee box. That is the worst drive I have hit
Ever.
Well,
except for maybe the Canada Day ball. There is one other one now that I'm thinking about it.
But it was so bad. Like I hit it probably 60 yards. It hit a tree and came back 30 yards. So I had like a 30-yard drive, and then that was.
Well, Clark was around. He was relieving himself or back behind us, and he comes over and he's like, "Where'd you go, Alvin?" And you're like, "Right where my cart is over there." He's like, "Oh."
And then, not that that drive threw me out of my game, but I hit 3 shot. Well, I hit a 3-wood after that, and my 3-wood I didn't get it out of the tree line, so it was still in the tree line. Then I hit 3 choked down hybrids to bump it out.
Oh,
I hit the worst 3 shots with that club that I've hit in a row ever, because I was looking up to see where the ball goes before I even made contact. So I would shank it left. It'd go about 40 yards. Get up, do the same thing. Like I was going further left. I was going out of the tree line into like number 10's fairway.
Number 9's fairway.
Number 9's fairway. As I was like hitting it left, I'm like, holy. Well, eventually I'm going to have a good shot here. Like I'll be able to get it up over the tree line.
Oh,
But
it
it
was
just got
so
away
bad.
from me. It was so bad. But
Well, I
I
mean,
still
but
shot an 88 today.
yeah, and I mean, I had a quad, I had a triple, and then I finished. I also did not play 18 well. I had a double there, which is +9 with those 3 holes, and I finished +12 for the day. I did have 2 birdies to help balance it,
So
but
so that was the thing. So you quadded one, and you finished the front at +7.
yes,
So you were 3 over for the next 8,
correct.
right? Fabulous,
Yep.
right? And I was 4 over through the first 3.
Yep.
And then I went
Next 6.
7 over. I went 3 over through the next
6.
6.
Yeah.
And went 7 over on the front.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? Because I mean, we've played out there so much now that I took a quad on one, and you do the same thing now. You took a page out of my book. It's just like whatever. We'll just find our way back to bogey golf
Yeah.
eventually here.
Yeah.
It just took a little longer than I would have liked,
Yeah.
and I mean, like
So what I've found lately is I'm still okay off the tee box. My approach game has been a little better, maybe not so today, but the way I put it is my approach game is putting me into bogey territory, but my chipping and putting is keeping me from the double squares. So I'm okay with that.
yeah,
Right?
well, yeah. Well, and I mean, you were able to find a lot of pars too today, right? At the right times, and I mean,
I did miss a birdie on 10 that was almost
should have been a gimme, basically.
It was in gimme territory, but I had to put it out because
Yep.
it was for birdie, and I totally
That was just a lack of concentration.
that was a total lack of concentration. Then I made the par putt back, but
it's all
again,
good.
I hit the drive off that tee box, and I was actually like right in front of the green.
You were like a foot in front,
I
maybe
almost
2
made-
feet in front.
I almost hit the green off the tee box there.
Well, that one we always say that one's drivable for you, right? I mean, if you get that one, you're gonna put it on and have a chance. And as I said, you
think
crushed
the
that.
only reason I wasn't on today was because of the temperature.
Oh,
The ball
for
wasn't
sure.
flying, so that
It had a beautiful line. It was money, but it just didn't get there. But I mean, all things untold, I mean, we're not playing a whole lot in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I was relatively happy
you
with
know what?
the game today.
Playing the white yellow combos this late in the season is helping, in my opinion. It's helping me stay focused on the golf course. I'm still playing for something relative.
I mean, it only
to
gives
what I
you
want.
6 yellows.
Yeah.
But I mean, the 6 yellows that you do get are very on the right holes.
I find playing from this white yellow combo. I'm not stretching myself out a lot, if that makes sense. I hit a driver, and the next shots.
It allows you to have an approach,
right? It's not like, okay, well, you hit driver, well, now you got to hit a 3-wood, and hopefully you can get on the green, or if you're not on the green, you're chipping anyways. Every second shot is a little longer, maybe on those 6 holes for sure. But
yeah,
it does it for me. It puts the course a little more in play, I guess. Like I'm not hitting long shots for second shots.
Yeah.
On
just more manageable.
It is. It makes the course a little more manageable.
And I mean, honestly, for our handicaps, I mean, it's probably where we should be for right now.
But finishing out the season here now, especially with temperatures, weather, and all that stuff, I'm okay to play the combo, white yellow combo. I mean, I don't know.
I'll play that all day long.
All day long, because it just, you get around the course. Nothing. I mean, granted, we had quads today, but it
happens.
It happens.
I mean, actually, it doesn't really happen that often because we were just talking about it that we haven't taken too many quads, or we've taken the odd triple, but not very many quads this year. But.
So, all right, we're talking about this round we had today, but we want to really recap the season. So, we went to the new course, Medicine Hat. It has been a pleasant experience playing at that course this year.
Yeah, man.
It was. I mean, I speak for myself, but it was a really good move for us. For me, it was a really good move. Just the next step in building your golf game, right? Because I'm thinking about myself here. I'm at 50. I've probably got about another 5-6 years maybe of working on my game to the point where it can get better.
Yep.
And once I get past 55 maybe, and I know it's just a number. Age is just a number, but my game's probably not is gonna plateau.
Yep.
I'm gonna be and then after that it's gonna start. You're getting the old man syndrome then, right? You're.
Hey man, I watched a lot of old guys get around that course pretty easily.
That's true. But
you got the old man game for it, so
I'm looking forward to playing the next 5 years there, right? Like I'm working on my game, and just, things coming up over the winter here that I'm going to get into. That again, building on your golf game. But I really enjoyed playing there this year. just going to the course, it's such a relaxed atmosphere.
Which is funny because a lot of people like you don't get a lot of there's not a lot of greens fee players.
Yeah.
Not as many as you would think that come up there to play. They have a ridiculous amount of members, but not very many greens fee players. Like most of the greens fee players go to Connaught because it's more centralized in the city.
Yeah.
It's not thought as of the more of the hoity-toity, right? And it's funny because having played at both, I'm like, Medicine Hat's not really like you don't get a hoity-toity feel. They're like
Nope.
very friendly. They have an excellent practice facility. I mean, them and Desert Bloom have the two best practice facilities in the city. Um, they have, their staff is awesome. Their pro shop is terrific. Their halfway house is great. I
Restaurants,
mean,
fire.
oh yeah, restaurant is amazing. I mean, and just the shape they keep their course in is, I mean, you get the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
Like there's no question about what shape that course is going to be when you get there. The bunkers are nice. The greens roll beautifully. They roll nicely all the time. I mean, the pace of play is good.
Yes.
I mean,
that's a big thing. Pace of play.
I mean, when we talked about,
and we walked like you and I walked today. And,
yeah, well, that's the other thing.
No round has really been over 4.5 hours.
Yeah, we were done. We were done in less than 4:15 today.
Yeah.
We were ahead of pace all day long.
All day long. And
4:15 is the pace out there. And I mean, we walked and Clark and Dave drove, and I mean, we've walked basically all year. We've carted a few rounds, but I mean,
and that was one of my goals this year too, was to walk more.
Yep.
And the season was great, but that was for me, that was a goal that I set for myself. And now I find that I can walk the 18. Like today when I walked the 18, got in the van and came home, wasn't terribly sore, wasn't terribly tired.
Yeah.
Well,
Medicine Hat is a nice, I mean, moving from Cottonwood, there was a few reasons we had discussed to move from Cottonwood, right? Like Cottonwood's it's still a tough course for a par 66 because it's strategic about where you have to put your ball. But I mean, I wanted to actually be able to hit my driver. Like,
yeah.
I mean, some people will tell you, well, you can hit your driver at Cottonwood. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can hit it on a few holes. But I mean, I want to.
Yeah, how many? 3?
I want to be able to challenge myself because there's certain holes, like if I hit my driver and you don't hit it perfect, you lose your ball.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to be able to play a bigger course where it's like, well, you have some room for error. You make a bad shot, you still have a chance to recover, or you learn how to navigate it a little bit. So that was one. 2, I mean, Cottonwood I've walked it before. It's not fun.
Nope.
It's a lot of up and downs, especially if you play from the top tee boxes.
This is how I articulate Cottonwood. So the golf course is in the coulee.
Yeah.
The tee boxes are at the top of the coulee.
100%.
So, I mean, to get to every tee box, you have to walk up the side.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing more exercise than you are golfing. Yes. Let's be real. By the time you get to the tee boxes, you're tired. I mean, moving to the Hat, and we decided this year we're going to walk, which was awesome. I mean, it's gradually sloped down one way and up the other nine. And I mean, it's gradual, so you don't even really notice. And it's a nice walk.
It's a great walk.
Like it's a course that that fits well to walking. I mean, you have multiple tee options that you get. There's the forward tees, the yellow tees, the white tees, and the blue tees. And I mean, there's super a number of combinations. I think there's 7 tee combinations that you could possibly play. So it enables players of all skill levels to get out there and play.
Yep.
And I mean, it's nice because it's a full par 72 that offers something different. And I absolutely love the decision to go there. I mean, this year we got the dual membership for their Connaught, which we won't do next year because we don't like Connaught. So
and I know it's maybe harsh to say, but I told you the last time we played there that will be the last Connaught golf cart that goes in my cart.
Yeah, like, and I mean it just sucks. It's just the way it worked out.
And again, it's what you like to. I mean, and again, like there's a ton of people in the city that like going to that golf course better than anyone else. Well, good for you. I mean, that's just I don't like 5-hour, 6-hour rounds.
Nah, too long.
And 2 and 3, groups stacked up on each tee box. That's not how I like to play golf. And I think the course is good strategic wise, like laid out well.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm not going to go there and have the staff coming in coming into the parking lot before we even take the clubs out of the bag, getting carts because they've run out of carts because they're ramming the tee times through. I'm just not into that.
Yeah, and I mean it is what it is, right? Like that's a learning experience for this year with us, and I
Yeah.
mean it's. But I mean, all things considered, yeah, I'm right there with you. I love the move we made
Yeah.
to move to the hat.
And I'm looking forward to next year already. And we haven't even finished this season, but
Well, we got the
um,
Ironman coming up, which is going to be fun.
we'll do a pod on that. The Ironman coming up, and we'll discuss all that when we do that pod. But um, and again, our Mulligans and Hackers season was pretty good this year.
Yeah.
Again, for me, I struggled mentally throughout that part of the season. I don't know how many wins did I get on tour this year. 3, 2,
Two.
Yeah, because we only had 7 events, anyways.
Yes, we
And,
had. Yes.
Because we toned it down because we went.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that was the other thing this year, right? Like we wanted to get on the Alberta Golf Tour, which you and I got onto, and
which we will be having Leah on a pod down the road here. We'll do a recap of the 2024 Alberta Golf Tour season.
Yeah, it was that was a super cool experience too,
You know what,
right?
we talk about goals that we had throughout the season. You know, moving to Medicine Hat, walking more. I mean, that was a goal that I really wanted. I really wanted us to play on the Alberta Golf Tour, and we talked about it literally since the first season we started this whole endeavor 4 years ago.
Just didn't feel prepared yet up until like this year, right?
I agree with you, right? And when we had decided that we were going to do that, I mean, I was stoked. I was totally stoked to go and experience the tour type golf. Again, just another level for us, an experience for us, right? Like just getting into the sport and doing those type of things. And I mean, the first event was at Desert Bloom that we played.
Yeah, Stableford, beautiful, super nice, warm day, great
I mean,
conditions. I mean, the first tour kind of atmosphere we got to feel, right? It was different.
Walk out in the tents there, and you can register and scorecards. You have to exchange with a guy. I
Yep.
mean, that whole experience, and then after the round, you're going over your scorecards together and signing off on your. Oh, I mean, that was just another experience. That was like, oh, that was so cool. And I did have a good finish there at the Bloom too, second in the C flight. Just saying.
Yep.
But
I mean, yeah.
That, and then we go from that to the drastic conditions at Strathmore because we didn't plan on going to Strathmore.
That was an add-on or an add-in
because we had was such a great experience at Desert Bloom. We're like, well, we got to add one more, and we can't just do the 2 that we had planned, which was Desert Bloom and Mickelson National in Calgary. We have to do. And I was like, well, Strathmore can be a day trip, so we're like, okay, let's get into the Strathmore one, and we get to the Strathmore one, and you may have heard our podcast before of us talking about that. It was one of the most miserable golf experiences I've ever had in my life. But I'm better now because I'm prepped. I got my rain gear. I've got my umbrellas. I'm set for this. But like I play golf in southern Alberta. It's like desert conditions down here.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. We've seen a lot of rain this year, which is kind of surprising. But we don't see a lot of rain. And when it's raining, you just go home. Right? It's like, I don't need to do this to myself today. But when you're going to play in tour golf, when you're going to go play, whether it's raining or not, and I had no rain gear, just the pants and shirt I had on, and it rained.
Weren't you wearing shorts?
Was I wearing shorts?
Dude, I think you were wearing shorts and a shirt.
On. I thought I had pants that day.
Maybe, I don't know. It was so long ago. I just remember you sitting in the cart like this, just miserable, just wanting to kill someone.
Miserable. Like, I'm a fair weather golfer. I was at that point. I may have changed a little bit recently, but that whole experience was like, oh my God, I never want to be in that shape again. Like, I got my rain gear now. I got 2 raincoats, rain pants. I got my umbrellas, and I bring them to the course every time I go now. And
just put them in your bag.
And they've come in handy like twice this year since we've been playing our tours and playing tournaments that we play in here. So Strathmore was kind of a from the high of Desert Bloom to
the lowest of the lows
of Strathmore.
It got canceled for the first time or second time
in 12 years.
Yeah.
So, and then we had played. We knew we were playing Mickelson National after that because we wanted to go play that course, and that was another experience.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of like. I mean,
granted, we showed up there and it was raining.
Yes, it was a rainy day, and but it didn't get canceled. We had to find a way and play through that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, we talk about getting back there when it's nice, and hopefully we can. But
so we've got a complimentary round next year.
Yes,
So
or anytime,
anytime. So
but it'll be next year.
we'll probably go up early. Same thing because it's going to be on the holiday weekend.
Yeah,
The August weekend.
yeah, yeah.
So we'll go up and we'll play on Monday and play the tournament day on the Tuesday.
Something like
We'll,
that.
we'll do something like that again.
Or maybe we'll play on the Saturday or something because I don't know if you can use it on the holiday Monday or the Sunday or something.
Leah will make it happen because again, you got the pass, the anytime pass,
Yeah.
and I got the bloody Monday to Thursday pass.
Well, guess what? You should have shot better.
And I'm like, well, what are you playing favorites here? And she's like, I know the people. We'll make it happen. So I was like, okay, cool. But
yeah, so we got all, we got 3 different experiences, which was interesting, and I mean,
just that next step in golf, right?
yeah, and I mean we got to golf with some different people, which was kind of cool, and just see how other people's games like in our handicap range
like,
compare to ours.
We met some cool people on the Alberta Golf Tour, right? Like even let's just say even playing you and me at Medicine Hat, like we played with a lot of people this year.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we're no longer at that point where we're like,
So
I don't know if I want to grab something.
Conscientious about our game and going to playing with other people because I would rather go play by myself than play with strangers.
Yeah. Now, well, and I mean, I was a little bit more whatever. I'll just jump out with whoever because I mean, my swing's so weird with the cross-handed grip that everybody says something, so I'm just like whatever. But this year it's been, I mean, if we have nobody, we just cancel the spots in our tee time that are open, and somebody slides in, right? Like we've golfed with tons of different people,
and it's been a blast. Like during the week now, I usually try and take the last tee time, and I've had some kids jump in, and been on the course playing by myself, and then you catch up to someone. It's like, okay, well, let's finish it out together, right? And I guess my anxiety about that is just like my anxiety about doing these fucking podcasts and shit, doing social media stuff. It's kind of really dwindling. Like I guess my game I got a little more confidence in my game to go and play and show people. I guess that,
well, you feel confident,
right?
Yeah.
I'm not a great golfer, but I'm not horrible at this sport either, right? So
well, I mean,
again, I golf with a guy. Me and Clark were out last weekend, and we golfed with a couple from Regina, and I think we were on number 13, no, number 12. And he looks over at me, he goes, so what are you at, like 10 handicap? And I'm like, well, I'm rocking right around 13, 14 now. He goes, yeah, I could tell. He goes, you get around the course pretty just normal, right? It's like fairway, up towards the green, chip or two, a couple putts. It's like, yeah, like I'm not a I don't know, I'm not a hack anymore, I guess.
No, I mean, and it'd be nice,
but like to have somebody else look at you and go, what are you? I'd love to be a 10 handicap, right? That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
One of my goals was to get to single digits this year, and it's just like I right now I'm sitting at the lowest I've ever been. I'm at 11.4, which is not where I wanted to be, but at the same time, the last couple months, like I haven't golfed a lot in the last few weeks because my coaching started back up. But the last couple weeks of the summer, it was like I've been hovering around here for about a month, and I'm like, man, God, is it hard to get down lower? Like you got to be frigging consistent.
Well, it was kind of funny for me because I had such a bad run there for like 6 weeks.
Yep.
And my handicap went from 14 that it was up to like almost 16. And now when I had that mental change of no fear and trust your game and trust what you're doing, my handicap went from where probably the worst it's been in a couple of years to now I'm at 13.6, which is the lowest it's ever been for me on the Canada Fab 2. So here we are. When we talk about goals that we're setting, you wanted to get into single digits, but here we are at the end of the year, and both of our handicaps after 4 years is the lowest it's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, which we got to take. I mean, that's good. That is a great thing.
I mean, I was blown away. Like, I'm like, wow. Like,
but I mean, I can see in both of our games, like, it's funny because our games are kind of reversed. Like, typically, you're the guy off the tee. And then as you get closer to the green, your game wanes down.
Yeah.
And as I get closer to the green, my game gets a little better.
You bet. You bet.
And that's why,
That's why we're good scramble
right?
partners.
That's why I always joke we're good scramble partners. But I mean, like as the season's kind of starting to wind down here, I mean, I'm starting to find it off the tee. Like I made one of my other goals was to be able to hit my driver more consistent, and I couldn't hit it for like a month and a half. Like it just every time I would pull it out, I would duck hook it left. I couldn't get off a tee box. Like it was brutal, like brutal. Like some of these holes are long, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna hit it, and it's like, well, this just turned into a 3-shot hole at
A
best.
3-shot par four.
You're
Yeah,
right, and it's like to get there, and it just made a lot of work. But I mean, I was able to make some adjustments and figure out some things, and I mean the last 3 weeks, well, I guess last month I'd say, with my driver, it started slow where I was able to get some, hit some good shots, and then like you said, today I felt really good with the driver. Like
it looked really good.
it wasn't like I wanted to put my driver back in the bag and just not see it
Nope.
for a couple holes. I'm like, I can't wait to hit this fucking thing
I
again.
think you duck hooked one.
Yep, yep. I got over top of
You got
it,
over top on just one drive.
and then I lost one right,
Yes.
OB on the par 17. I caught it with the toe. My face was slightly open. I hit it well, but I just lost it right, and it went OB. So, I mean, I still made a bogey
Yeah, but
off
again,
of 4 OB, so it wasn't bad. But I mean, that was one of my goals. So I've worked hard at that. And it's funny because I said to you today, I was like, so this is what it's like to play your game.
yeah,
Fucking
right.
just off the fairway, in shape all the time. I'm like, man, if I could get
Not
used to this, I could probably get to a single digit
not having
handicap.
to hit it over trees or around trees.
Yeah, it's a different look.
But and one of our goals this year too was to break 80.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, I don't. It's funny because even today, starting with a quad and then making the turn at +7, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm probably gonna be mid 80s today, and then I make it to I birdied 12, so I
you had
make
two
it.
birdies today, right?
Yeah, or sorry, I birdied 11, and then I birdied 12, so I'm sitting at 6, 7, 6 over. I was sitting at 6 over. Sitting at 6 over going into 13. And I was like, "Oh, well, maybe today." I mean, I didn't want to really think about it, but I'm like, I mean, there's lots of holes left and the troublesome holes, right?
Yep.
So I was like, whatever. So then I hit a drive that was really good on 13, but it just was a little too far to the left. Caught the rock, shot in
Shot into
into the hazard area. So I mean, I had to go take a drop, and I didn't hit a good approach, and turned into a fucking triple, my triple for the day. So then I was up to +9, and then par the next one, bogey the next one, and it's like and then I birdied 16 was the other one that or yeah. So I birdied 12 or 11 and 16 because 16 was the par 3 that I hit, and then I kind of knocked it down to +9, and I was like, okay, there's a chance I could maybe get there, and then it kind of went away. But it's
How many times did you shoot 80 this year?
just once.
Just once.
Just once. I've shot an 81 and 82 a couple times, but just once have I shot 80.
And I shot 80 once this year as well. And again, that was one of my best rounds I've ever played.
Well, I mean, we both same thing, right? We had a chance at 79 on 18. We both bogeyed it, and you just about oh man, you so close to making yours.
Yeah, I was like 3 inches away from 79
Yeah.
on 18, and tapped it in for an 80. But,
Yeah, I mean, yours was from the hybrids,
Yep.
and mine was from the whites.
Yep.
So I mean, it was because I shot it in the first round of our tour
for
championship.
championship, yep.
Yeah, I was starting to become a habit for me laying down a round in the first round. That's just puts you way out in front.